Hello and welcome to Cricket Happenings, dear friends and subscribers. On this Cricket Happening show, we'll talk about India's progress on the second day, where India resumed on their overnight score and went on to put up a massive score against the West Indies on day two, whereby they scored 649. And they declared the innings closed at 649. I will come to that just a moment. So 649, they declared the innings closed with the Indian captain Virat Kohli notching up his 24th Test ton and for the third time getting 1,000 runs in a calendar year on a sort of consistent basis. And also, India also had another feather to their cap today. As you would remember, there are two blokes who are actually from the place that is in Rajkot. They are from Saurashtra. I'm talking about Cheteshwar Pujara and Ravindra Jadeja. Cheteshwar Pujara might have missed up on a century, but not Ravindra Jadeja. And what a way to bring his maiden Test century in front of his home crowd, as he hit a really spanking knock from Ravindra Jadeja of 100, which included 5 fours and 5 sixes. He was not out 100. As soon as he got to his 100, Virat Kohli called his wards in, and that was the declaration. 649 for 9. Ravindra Jadeja, as I said, maiden Test century after 9 years of hard work in international cricket. But nevertheless, he got it there, and it was a great occasion for him as he actually swung that bat of his like a sword as his customary celebration. And that was it. And West Indies, I have to tell that they were put under the pump right away, first by Shami, and then the spinners came into the equation, as one would expect it to be. And the West Indians were really struggling with 6 wickets gone for 94 runs on day two, and they were trailing by a massive 555 runs. So definitely it is something where West Indies have to really play. I mean, when it's not over, and Roston Chase is still there. I'll be talking about this game. Other than that, I will try to do a very brief preview or a brief summary, we could say, on the final ODI which is coming up, where Zimbabwe have one last chance to salvage something, as the final ODI will be played. South Africa have already won the series, as you know, so we would see some experimentation from the South African South African team, I reckon. And the tour match between England Tour of Sri Lanka, the first match, was won by England by the Duckworth Lewis method, which I will talk about in a very brief manner. And also, Australia selected their T20 team, and it did not contain a lot of surprises, which I'll be talking about. It's Chris Lynn back for Australia. But first, I'm going to start off with the India versus West Indies game. So it was Kohli and Pant actually resuming their innings. Oh well, I forgot to tell about Rishabh Pant. He made his knock in that characteristic way of his, and that is to attack the bowlers, which is making 92 of 84 deliveries, 8 fours and 4 sixes, almost like a one-day stuff, one could say. Virat Kohli continued in his very solid manner that he was accumulating runs. He kept on doing that, and Rishabh Pant, let me tell you, he was the one who was actually scoring the runs, as he did not have a care in the world. And as you know, whenever Rishabh Pant hits the ball goes. I mean, one probably feels that he plays in a very unorthodox manner, which really puts the bowlers in a quandary as well. And Rishabh Pant definitely did that, and it looked like probably Rishabh Pant would be the first to reach his century. But again, Rishabh Pant is a person who needs to really understand this is the second time he has missed his century, but he did a wonderful job along with his captain, as they took the score from 337 to 470, and that was it was done pretty quickly, one could say, thanks to Rishabh Pant, who smacked 92 of 84. That was 8 fours and 4 sixes in that, as he was a victim of the bowling of Devendra Bishu, as he threw his wicket. This was a googly, and he tried to put it through the mid-wicket region. And Pant, as you know, whenever he hits the strokes, he really loses his balance, and this is the way he plays. I mean, but what is very important is that he connects and connects well, and the results are there. He's getting runs. So I think Rishabh Pant would be a very dangerous player if in probably in ODIs or T20 cricket, according to me. That is when Mahendra Singh Dhoni retires from the game. I think Rishabh Pant definitely would have a permanent spot in the ODI and T20 version. He's a very attacking player, let me tell you that. And this is the second time he's missed his century. He was gone for 92. So, and then after that, Virat Kohli doing all work, gone to his 24th test done. And once he did that, and he scored 139, becoming Lewis' second wicket in his international career. And that was a good wicket, as Virat Kohli played a sort of a tired stroke, one could say. He made 139 with 10 boundaries as he chipped the ball to the mid-on region, and Virat Kohli was walking as his bat closed, the face of the bat closed when he was playing the shot, and it was an easy catch for Bishu of the bowling of Lewis. 139 with 10 boundaries from Virat Kohli, and Ravindra Jadeja came in and provided wholesome entertainment to his home crowd as he started really smacking the bowlers, and he had the company of Ashwin, but Ashwin was a victim of Bishu for 7 with 1 boundary. Kuldeep Yadav was LBW bowled Bishu for 12, 2 boundaries. Umesh Yadav made 22 with 2 sixes. Shami was not on 2, but Ravindra Jadeja kept going on, and he was the one who really gave a sort of a real thrust to the Indian innings, as also gave an opportunity for Virat Kohli to declare the innings closed at 649 for 9. With Ravindra Jadeja, as I said, played some marvellous strokes. He was hitting down the ground beautifully, and he was using his feet beautifully to the spinners as he smacked an unbeaten 100 with 5 fours and 5 sixes. And Ravindra Jadeja, as I said, his maiden test century, and that too after 9 years. But what a moment to come. It came at the right time in front of the home crowd. And West Indies definitely today, once again, they did not have the services of Jason Holder like yesterday, which was very sad, and that enabled India to pile on the agony with 649 for 9 declared. The wicket takers: 4 for 217 for Devendra Bishu, 2 for 93 Sherman Lewis, 1 for 84 Gabriel, Timo Paul was wicketless, none for 61, 1 for 137 Chase, and Brathwaite 1 for 47. Now it was the turn of the West Indies to face the music of the Indian bowlers. It all started off with Mohammad Shami getting amongst the wickets pretty quickly. He was the one who provided the breakthrough, as the first wicket to go. Was the wicket of Brathwaite, who was the first to go, and Brathwaite was clean bowled by Mohammad Shami. That was a wonderful delivery. In fact, Brathwaite was probably thinking that the ball is going to move away, but it was a ball which jacked back and went in through the bat and pad gap and crashed onto the stump. So Brathwaite was gone, bowled by Mohammad Shami for 2. That was the first wicket. The next to go was the other opener, Kieron Powell, also dismissed by Mohammad Shami. Now, Shami was doing well. He came round the wicket, and he got him LBW. It was not a good shot from Kieron Powell, and it was the end of it. It was going to, he went far across the stumps, and he was gone LBW for 1, and Mohammad Shami had struck for India by sending both the West Indian openers back to put them in serious trouble there, with the score reading 7 for 2. But after that, Mohammad Shami, after doing a good job, unfortunately had to go back with an injury, and like what happened to Jason Holder, he did not bowl further after bowling that opening burst, which was very well done by him. 6 overs, 2 maidens, 11 runs and both the openers' wickets. After that, it was Shai Hope and Solomon Hetmyer, the talented player, at the crease, and Shai Hope was the next to go. This was the turn of now the spinners now to take on, as Shai Hope was a victim of a beauty of delivery from Ravichandran Ashwin. There was a lot of drift into it, and Hope was totally beaten beaten by this delivery from Ravichandran Ashwin. Hope thought the ball is going to turn, but there was absolutely no turn. The ball went straight on, hit the stumps, and that was the end of Shai Hope, and that was a big wicket because Shai Hope is someone who can really play very well, as we all know. It went on to clip the top of the off stump. Shai Hope was gone, bowled by Ashwin for 10 with 2 boundaries. Now the score at 21 for 3, as Ambrish was making his test debut. Ambrish has already played against New Zealand, I remember. So Sunil Ambrish was playing probably. He was there. Sunil Ambrish was along with Solomon Hetmyer. Now what happened with Solomon Hetmyer, who was run out for 10 with a very swift throw by Ravindra Jadeja. Ravindra Jadeja, after doing a very good job with the bat now this was very interesting. Now it was Solomon Hetmyer whipping the ball to the mid-on region, Ambrish running all the way to the striker's end, and Ambrish had gone to the striker's end, and now he has to run all the way back, and Hetmyer was totally stranded. Now what Jadeja did was he did not he just played around with a sort of he played around with the batsman. He was just waiting, he was just playing around with him, and just threw the ball at the stumps, and it was a really comic situation, and definitely and it was finally over as Jadeja actually got him run out, and he wanted to play around with the batsman. So instead of throwing the ball to Ashwin, he went and stood there and probably standing there and telling Hetmyer to attempt at something, and then he threw the ball the stumps and it hit the stumps, and luckily it all over, and there was a real sort of a very bad running between the wickets, and especially in a situation like that, I thought they lost a very good player. Solomon Hetmyer run out for 10 with 1 boundary thanks to Ravindra Jadeja. Now the score at 32 for 4, and now it was Ambrish joined in by Roston Chase. Now Jadeja took 1 more wicket. This time it was the wicket of Sunil Ambrish. Ambrish tried a big shot through the offside, edges the ball, and Ajinkya Rahane was the one who actually took the catch at first slip. So he was gone for 12 with 2 boundaries. Now the half of the team into the pavilion, 49 for 5. And then Shane Dowrich was there with Roston Chase, and one thought that Shane Dowrich and Roston Chase would stem the rot a bit, but it was not to be, as Kuldeep Yadav got into the picture, and Kuldeep totally befuddling Shane Dowrich, as he invited Shane Dowrich to have a go at him. In fact, he invited him for the stroke, and in fact Dowrich came forward, and the ball turned in very sharply, and it went under the bat and pad of Shane Dowrich to went and hit the bails, and what a delivery. And Kuldeep Yadav had clean bowled Shane Dowrich for 10 with 1 boundary, and finally when stumps were down, Roston Chase kept the fight going. He was unbeaten on 27 with 4 boundaries. Kimo Paul was not on 13, 1-4 and 1-6, as West Indies closed on day 2 at 94 for 6, 555 runs behind. So probably the follow-on is imminent, according to me, no doubt about it. Shami, it was very unfortunate that he had to go back after bowling a beautiful opening burst, 6 overs to manage 2 for 11. Umesh Yadav 7 overs and none for 14. Ashwin 7 overs 1 for 32. Jadeja did a good job. It was Jadeja's day today, 5 overs 1 minute 1 for 9. Kuldeep Yadav 4 overs 1 minute 1 for 19. So West Indies definitely having their backs to the wall today as they go into day 3. Now the third ODI which is coming up between Zimbabwe and South Africa, which is a mere formality, but for Zimbabwe it's a matter of going and salvaging something for themselves by winning the final ODI. The final ODI is going to be played at the Boland Park in Paarl, and one is expecting this pitch to be definitely not like Bloemfontein. There could be some, they are expecting some runs on this particular pitch, and that was, so it will be interesting to see after what happened in Bloemfontein. So as far as South Africa are concerned, they can do some experimentation because, as you know, it is all over for them. South Africa have already won the series, but for Zimbabwe, the other ones. Let's have a look at Zimbabwe as to what are the changes they could bring in tomorrow. It doesn't look like any big changes coming up. Probably they would stick with the same team. And also let's have a look at the South African team. Well, the South African team, they could do a bit of experimentation. Du Plessis is back, so that's further great news for South Africa, that Du Plessis is the one who will be captaining the side as he's back in the mix. Well, it's going to be something that Zimbabwe had to contend with, because Du Plessis, we know what a wonderful player he is and what a wonderful captain he is. And then we have a look at the tour match that is coming up. Tour match which was played, the first match of the tour, England tour of Sri Lanka, where England took on the Sri Lankan 11, the Sri Lankan board president's 11 at Colombo, and the Sri Lankan board innings. In fact, it was a sort of a tour match, the first tour match, and Sri Lanka made 287 for 9 batting first. Now 287 for 9 of the 50 overs. This was a one-day fixture which was played. If you look at the Sri Lankan card there, the Sri Lankan hopefuls, one could say, Karunaratne was out for 25 of 23 deliveries, 2 fours. Tirimane, the opener, made 23 of 36 3 fours. Both were clean bowled by Moeen Ali. Chandimal coming in as the captain definitely looked in some very good form with 77 of 85 deliveries, 7 fours and 1 6. Kushal Mendes again continued his poor form. He was out to LBW bowl Moeen Ali for 22 of 28, 1 4. Samara Vikrama made only 4 runs. Mendes, it was Kaminda Mendes made 61. Now Kaminda Mendes is an ambidextrous bowler. He can bowl left arm as well as right arm, and that's what he did. And today in his batting also he showed that he could be someone that Sri Lanka could look up to in the future. As with the bat, he scored 61 of 72, 5 boundaries. Madhushanka was out for 10. Ishiru Udana clubbed 40 of 26, 3 fours and 3 sixes to take the Sri Lankan total, to give them a bit of a boost to 287 for 9 of the 50 overs. And then the target for, and look at the bowling from the Englishmen on their first day of the tour. Vokes had 6 overs for 55, was very costly. Mark Wood, 6 overs, 2 for 38, bowled well. Moeen Ali was excellent, 10 overs, 3 for 42. Ollie Stone, 6 overs, none for 32. Adil Rashid, 10 overs, 1 for 46. Ben Stokes, 5 overs, 2 for 33. Joe Root, 7 overs to maiden, 1 for 33. Now England, due to the rain, they were given a sort of a Duckworth Lewis total of 173 runs to get in 35.3 overs. But in fact, they scored 215 for 2. With Jason Roy making an attractive 27 of 29, 5 fours, falling victim to Kasun Rajita. Jonathan Bairstow was out for 3, LBW bowled Udana. But Joe Root and Morgan made sure, Joe Root with 90 of 92, 8 fours, unbeaten at that, and Morgan not out 91, the captain of 84, 9 fours and 3 sixes, unbeaten once again, got them to victory. And so it's a good start for England on their tour of Sri Lanka here, winning the first tour match. Ishiru Udana, Pires, there was not much, 6 overs, 1 for Kasun Rajita. Ishiru Udana, 1 for 27, I thought was okay. It was 59 for Pires, Madhushanka. But I was talking about Kaminda Mendes. His name is Kaminda Mendes. He had figures of 8 overs, none for 37. But let me tell you, he is an ambidextrous bowler. He bowls both ways. He can bowl left arm spin and he can bowl right arm. So he can double as a left arm spinner and he can bowl the right arm spinner. That's what precisely he did. When Morgan and Root were at the crease, he was bowling left arm spin to, I think it was to Joe Root, but he was bowling off spin to Morgan. So basically he bowls with both hands, and that is something, a very unique thing in cricket, and it was good to see Kaminda Mendes in action. and you could be a player for the future as well for Sri Lanka. And the other news that I would like to say is that the Australia have selected their T20 team for the T20 series against 3 T20s, which will be played after the 2 tests against Pakistan, and it's going to be played in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. Now, if you look at the composition of the team, Aaron Finch will captain, and they have named 2 vice captains. Mitchell Marsh is one vice captain. The other one is Alex Carey, the wicketkeeper, another vice captain. Ashton Agar, Nathan Coulter-Nile, Chris Lynn, who is back into action. That is good news for Australia. Nathan Lyon, Glenn Maxwell is there in the team as well. But the one man to really watch is Ben McDermott. Now, Ben McDermott has been in some very good form in the Big Bash League, and he's someone who hits the ball mighty hard. Let me tell you that. He really hits the ball mighty hard. When I've seen it in the Big Bash League, and he had scores of, even in the JLT One Day Cup, which happened, he had very consistent scores of 56, 117, 28, 102 and 76, and I think he's an exciting prospect for Australia, no doubt about it. And DRC Short is coming on the back of a whirlwind 257 that he made in a one-day international there in the match for Western Australia against Queensland, and he's someone who would be a dangerous bloke for the Pakistanis. And then the bowling would be in the hands of Billy Stanley, Mitchell Starc, Andrew Tye, Adam Zampa, the leggy. So that's the team composition as far as the Australian team for the T20s against Pakistan is concerned. Well, dear fans and subscribers, I think it's about time for me to really wind up this daily cricket show of mine by bidding you all a very good night. Thank you.